off with the situation that we're currently in. Right now, energy is distributed as a commodity, and we pay really cheap prices for this commodity. Unfortunately, they can't be stored. They have to be delivered when they're demanded, and when they're demanded, they have to be, I'm already off. Oh, sorry. So basically the problem is that we pay the same price all day long for our energy. It's flat rate, and it's completely misleading because ultimately the price of energy fluctuates. It's much more expensive during certain times of day for energy. Like 2 p.m. on a hot summer day when you want your air conditioning to work, it's much more expensive to get that energy than it is at 10 p.m. at that same night. And we as consumers need to realize that energy is not the same price all day long. And why is that? Ultimately, it's because we have to turn on these really expensive and dirty peaking power plants. And these power plants are expensive to run, and they pollute the environment. So our goal ultimately is to not have to turn them on. So a solution? Dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing means that the price of your energy is going to fluctuate throughout the day. It could be more expensive at 2 o'clock compared to 6 o'clock. But ultimately, dynamic pricing is scary only because we don't realize that it's not all stick. It can also be some carrot. There's a lot of rewards that are possible for consumers. We can get rebates for cutting back on our energy use, and people can benefit from this. And it shows us that the price is not always the same, and it gives us an opportunity to change. And dynamic pricing has had high satisfaction rates where it's been implemented. It's reduced demand. It does take consumer education. It takes a lot of marketing. People have to know that it's coming. And most people say that it's confusing and unfamiliar. But ultimately, it's really not. We experience fluctuating prices for a variety of goods that we purchase, and it happens regularly. So let's just look at a few examples of how we experience dynamic pricing on a regular basis. So first, there's flights. Airlines have been artfully selling tickets online at different prices for over a decade, and it's so well known that companies like Bing and Kayak actually help you figure out what the price is going to be and what's coming up. For parking, cities like San Francisco actually now have dynamic pricing for parking meters. Meters that are more expensive, harder to come by, and very rarely available are really expensive. The ones that are more available are less expensive, and they actually have an app now to show you. So we also experience it in driving situations. Toll roads. At peak times on some tolls, you're going to pay 400% more when it's the peak compared to when it's off-peak. In addition to seeing driving, sporting events do it now. Major League Baseball rolled it out last summer. They actually will fluctuate the prices of the Major League Baseball games based on if they're a contender for playoffs. You know, if somebody gets injured, maybe you're going to get a break on the cost of the ticket. Ticketmaster and Live Nation do this now. They do it for demand-based pricing. You know, if people want to go see all the concerts, they're going to raise the price of the tickets. They're trying to stop scalpers ultimately. But music does it as well. iPods and everything that you buy online now for music is all based on how often people want to download it. And ultimately it comes down to marketing. Dynamic pricing is about how you present it to the customer. There are examples of bad dynamic pricing. Coca-Cola in the late 1990s came out and said that they were going to raise the price of Cokes out of vending machines based on the temperature outside. And people found out about it and weren't happy, and you know, but there's a lot of room for dynamic pricing, and this is where I see it going. And not that I necessarily want this, but people can see dynamic pricing for gasoline, paying a premium for it, you know, at 5 o'clock at rush hour. And ultimately, this is where we're kind of heading, and it's an opportunity for consumers. They can save money through dynamic pricing if they're properly educated and they understand that sometimes a day it's more expensive to do it. And you can make money by curtailing your use, or you can have penalties. And if we can't figure out a way to curtail our peak demand, then we're going to be left in the dark. And that's what's going to happen, rolling blackouts and things like that. So this is where it's kind of heading. And in the end, dynamic pricing, like again, it comes down to marketing. It comes down to the utilities saying how it works. And you know, what if Coca-Cola had said to us, you know, we're going to lower the cost of your soda when it's cooler outside, and you're going to save money that way. Maybe we'd see those machines now. I don't know.